In ancient Rome, there was an imperial Roman sun cult, and that's what we want to look at today. The imperial Roman sun cult in Rome, today we refer to it, it's still there, we call it the Vatican. And in the Vatican, you will see the sun as the back of the Vatican as the whole instrumentality of the Roman Catholic Church is based on the sun worship of Aton. Then we talk about the evolution of the imperial cult. The official offer of cult, of the word cult, to a living emperor acknowledged his office and rule as the divinely appointed and constitutional, because Caesar represented the Aton, the absolute God of power on the earth, and he was the epitome, he was the godfather. Here you will see Mithra. Mithra was the imperial sun god of the ancient Roman Empire. And you will see Mithra in the ancient Roman Empire with the spokes around his head, obviously being the sun rays. And then the new sun god, Mithra, in Rome today is, of course, Jesus with the sun rays around his head. This is the same thing you will see in the Statue of Liberty, with the Statue of Liberty, with the spokes around the head of the Statue of Liberty. And so it all goes back to the ancient Roman Empire and the worship of the sun god. And in this book, one reference book about the ancient sun cult, it talks about the sun cult to the 1st century of Europe, the political background, the establishment of the cult of Solus Invicti, and the dogma being taught, the continuation of the cult of Solus Invicti. Solus Invicti was Solus, the sun, and Invicti means victory. So the sun was always going to be victorious because he dies at night and is gone. And so the prince of darkness comes out. The one we call the devil, he's a prince of darkness. He doesn't come out till it gets dark. And so in the Egyptian system, the god of the darkness, the prince of darkness was referred to as Set. And they realized in Egypt that the world does become dark at sunset. So he's the evil sun who is named Set. And so the invincible Mithra was the Solus Invictus, which means he's victorious. Every morning he will rise again. He may have been chased away and died at night, but he will come back and he will rise again. And so he's always going to be our risen Savior. Dios Solus Invicti is the true Roman sun god. Now at this point we need to point out that in all cultures the sun was and still is represented by the eagle. For example, the eagle is a symbol for the rising sun and its glory and power. The strong link between eagles and the sun can be traced back to the ancient times and the ancient empires. The sun was always associated with eagles because the eagles fly high and they have incredible eyes that can see everything. So the ancient people said, well, that's what the sun does. It flies high, they can see everything a man does. So God's watching you. And here we have Caesar. And you will see on his breastplate the sun god, Aton, the sun god. And beneath him is the eagle, which represents the sun god in Rome. In the Second World War, his Benito Mussolini's fascist coin on the left, and on the American side, the U.S. fascist coin on the right. It's almost identical. It's because America is the new Roman Empire. America is the new empire of Rome. Why? Because Caesar, in the history books, it would tell you, if you go back to the history books, every morning Caesar would get up and would, quote, go up on the hill. So we know that the Roman Senate was up on the hill. It was called Capitoline Hill. This is what we have. Every morning the president gets up, he goes up on the hill. What hill? Capitol Hill. That's what it was called in Rome. So therefore, Caesar now is officiating over the empire on Capitol Hill, the Roman Senate. And the president today has to deal with the Senate and on the Hill. So we're talking about the same identical government, because when Caesar left Europe, Caesar took over all of Europe. He wasn't happy with controlling Europe. He wanted Britannia. He wanted the British Empire under his belt. So he sent his troops into England and took over the British Empire. And he set up his government in England to represent the Roman Church, the Roman Vatican, the Roman Church, or the Roman power source in England. And where was that? What city did Caesar use as the center for his powerful government in England? He chose York, England. York, England was where the center for power, Roman power in the British Empire was in York, England. Today we have New York, the Empire State. That's because New York is the state of the new Roman Empire. So the New York is the Empire State. Incredible story about what New York really is and what America really is. We are the Roman Empire.